Get excited because HBO Max finally dropped the trailer for what's sure to be the hottest comedy of 2023. Maybe the best comedy ever. Since human beings have evolved to laugh, giggle, smile, it's all been leading up to this moment where we get to witness pure humor from a show called Velma. This is the latest in this never-ending trend to take beloved IP and change everything about it and create something abominable from it. This follows in the footsteps of the greats that came before it, such as the Halo show, the Resident Evil Netflix show, Witcher Blood Origin. It's got big shoes to fill, but after this trailer, I'm convinced that it might be the worst out of all of them. And you know what that means. I'm going to sit down and waterboard myself with the horrible jokes that this show is going to let rip. I'm going to watch it. Now, of course, you all know Velma is a big character from the Scooby-Doo franchise. She's been around for many decades now, and this is now her standalone adult animated spin-off. And now, I've said this many times in the past, and I'll say it again. I'll scream it from the mountaintops. Taking an IP and then telling your own unique story within that world, or even using the characters in different ways, I always think is totally fine, and I welcome it. I'm always excited to see new interpretations of this work that I like. But there needs to be a level of respect paid to the source material, as well as it making sense for it to exist and justify its own creation here. And Velma, from everything I've seen so far, does the exact opposite. It proudly shits on the Scooby-Doo franchise. It even takes Scooby-Doo completely out of Velma. Scooby-Doo's not here, apparently. So it's about as far from being respectful to the IP as you can possibly get. Now, even before this trailer dropped, Velma was catching more shit than my toilet, and this led to a lot of debate and controversy. People were upset that all of the characters have been completely changed in every possible aspect imaginable, and it didn't help that the first promotional material was Velma proudly, insulting fans. So it almost seemed like a two girls, one cup situation where they were just proudly eating the shit. But regardless, when all of this controversy started stirring in this cauldron here, this stew of hostility, a lot of people were just calling everyone who disliked it racist, which I always find to be an extremely scummy thing to do. There's nothing wrong with just asking, why not make this an original cast of characters instead of taking the names of characters that have existed for fucking decades and then changing everything about them. It could have just been an entirely different team set in the Scooby-Doo universe. Let's say they didn't call this Velma and they just took all of these same character qualities and everything, and they just had it be a completely different set of mystery solvers in the Scooby-Doo world. You have Scooby-Doo and the crew going around solving mysteries, boofing Scooby snacks in a bathtub, whatever. That's all very family friendly. And then this follows the more adult crew that's also solving mysteries, maybe a rival of the Mystery Inc. gang. You know, this could be the Murder Master Ass Blasters Detective Force, and they're very, adult-oriented, no-nonsense kind of shit. It's gory, it's bloody, they say bitch, they say ass, tit, fuck. Like, all the things that they're clearly striving for here. Why take all of that and then put it on characters that have already existed for so long? Like, you could have just told something original with these same characters, and it would have been totally fine. But regardless of where you stand on this stuff, the biggest problem with Velma is the writing, at least judging by the trailer. If the humor in the trailer is indicative of the quality of the show, they need to fire all of those writers ASAP. Cause my god, that shit'll rupture your eardrums from pure fucking cringe. It is miserable. Yeah, so I did want to watch the Velma trailer. I saw clips of this on Twitter. It's about as horrible as I think everyone expected it to be. This is like HBO Max's version of Big Mouth.
Told my way. She has no brain! Oh, I'm not dissing her. She has no brain!
So that's the clip I saw first today. I have to wonder who the fucking audience is. Because it's supposed to be like an adult cartoon, but that's a joke you'd hear out of like Ed, Edd n Eddy or something. I don't know who this is for. Yeah, this has nothing to do with Scooby-Doo or the characters at all. They have a completely rewritten history, background, everything. They only share a name. And Scooby's not even in this. So it shouldn't even be compared to anything even remotely associated with Scooby-Doo. That's clearly them just slapping this name on it for a cash grab. 100% they're going to have the original cast in the last episode. You're giving them so much credit, Dankin. 0% chance. I'm willing to bet on it. This show, I guarantee, hates Scooby-Doo. The people behind it fucking hated it. They probably were forced to by the network because this IP wouldn't have sold on its own 2 feet. So they were forced to roll with Scooby-Doo. I do not think they will include them. I would normally agree with you because that seems like a pretty predictable thing that they would do, but not for this one. You have to remember their very first trailer was literally shitting on people that like Scooby-Doo, so I just don't see it happening. But I'm willing to be proven wrong. Maybe they will go with the basic one there. But yeah,
Dissing her. She has no brain.
it's fucking rough.
Starts with a murder, bitch.
Thing to do with drugs, which I hate.
Hey, Fred.
Do I know you?
It's Velma from school.
I have a disease where I can't recognize people who aren't hot.
Is it called rudeness?
I have an illness!
Hey, Daphne. I need a
Yeah,
stop.
yikes,
I know
Jesus.
You think I'm a huge bitch.
I don't think anyone was expecting it to be good, but I also don't know if anyone was expecting it to be this awful either. It really feels like they went to ChatGPT and asked it to generate jokes for it. Setting aside all of like the wild changes for no reason, the actual humor of it is horrible in the trailer. Like, even if you set aside everything else, the actual comedy of it is miserable. It maybe is better in the actual show and they just chose the worst jokes to get people hype. I don't know, but if nothing else, it can be absolutely destroyed for how awful the writing is.
Danger.
Oh. Whenever I see this, whenever I see like twerking in a show, I know the person who wrote that is like 50 years old. What do kids like? Twerking. What if she does it poorly? Oh, that's good. That's good, yes. Write it down. Please, write it down. That's going to be a hit.
All our
Huge.
classmates are idiots, so
What a
let's
banger.
assume they're high.
You know what 420 is, right?
Yeah, it's code for adults who still watch cartoon.
I have no doubt that's going to be a hit. I feel it in my bones. Look how excited Kate is. Velma's coming. It premieres tomorrow. They forgot about Scooby-Doo. No, they proudly celebrated that Scooby-Doo won't be in this. So they took Scooby-Doo out of the Scooby-Doo. Again, if you set aside every dumb decision that they've made with like taking Scooby-Doo and just not using anything even remotely associated with it, at the very core, it is so awful with the jokes in this trailer. Maybe the show's better. I highly doubt it. But you bet your sweet Bippy I'm gonna watch. We need a moist meter. Oh, I'll moist meter. Oh, I probably won't. This is gonna end up like She-Hulk where I don't finish it. I already know. I have a very difficult time pushing through horrible comedies. So I probably won't finish it. But I will make a very stern effort. It is getting so wild just how frequent they just use IPs and then change every single thing about it. Just don't use the IP. Just make something original. Just make something of your own, and then you don't have to worry about like angry fan backlash. Let's say this wasn't called Velma. If this just didn't even have the name Velma, no one would know this was supposed to be Scooby-Doo. They could have called this High School Blows. Or, and nobody would have known it's Scooby-Doo and it wouldn't have got nearly as much pushback. But they use these IPs because they think it has a built-in audience. Yeah, I saw that review. There was a scathing review that some people were posting as the synopsis. The review was like there was a big focus on Fred's small penis or something. I think the exact words were, Fred is the personification of white richness and his small penis or something. I don't feel like pulling it up, but yeah, it was a review, not the synopsis. SNL humor. I'm going to say something I never thought I'd ever utter. SNL humor is better than this trailer. I said it, and I mean it. I'm not exaggerating. It really does feel like every joke in this was something that was like calculated with an algorithm that only studied TikTok and Tumblr trends. You've gone too far. Yeah, that may have been a little too hot, to be honest. Maybe I flew a little close to the sun with that statement.